When it comes to the Iustitia series, you see, Iustitia literally just means justice in Latin. The thing about it is that, well, when you're young and you're naive and you're all bright-eyed and idealistic, there's usually a sense that when it comes to your own sense of justice, like there's good people and there's bad people. Of course, you fight criminals, chase the bad guys, do whatever it takes to try to protect people. And when it came to Iustitia, I basically had an idea when it came to that. Hey, what if there was a school, some sort of private academy, where teenagers, like high school age teenagers, 15 to 18-year-olds, what if there was a school where they could learn how to be law enforcement agents? I actually got the idea for it when it came to a couple of anime that I watched in my early college years. And I even came up with things when it came to that. Like, there are different courses like anti-terrorism, hacking, infiltration, CQC, etc., like everything that would come with it. But at the same time, it can be lighthearted, it can be easygoing, especially when it appeals to a younger audience. Like when I came up with Iustitia, actually two of my main inspirations were Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, young adult series that would gradually become more mature and more darker the more that we did things. And Iustitia is kind of no different. Like the main character, Steph C, she's a freshman. It's her first year learning how to be a law enforcement agent. She's literally attending the school. She's a freshman. And this is all a new world for her. And just like with Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, we are learning these things the same way Steph is, the same way that Harry and Percy are being introduced to these bright new worlds as well. But at the same time, you're young, you're naive, you're even a bit bright-eyed and idealistic. You want to do the right thing. You want to help people, want to be good. And it was even very interesting that it would even be kind of like a social experiment. Like, what if teenagers were given the chance to learn past what a standard education was? What if they had the opportunity to be law enforcement agents? Like if they graduated with 4 years, they would probably need only limited training at like a police academy or even army basic training. Or heck, they could even apply easier for a private eye license and all these other opportunities. Chapter 1: A Very Rude Awakening. My day started just like any other, the loud and irritable banging on my door, as if the intruder had every intention to leave as many indents on the solid wood as possible. "It's time to wake up already. As usual, you're always so lazy, Stephanie." The even more loud and obnoxious voice bellowed like it was a challenge to raise higher than the pounding. I'm up. I responded, and the attack on my door stopped, followed by the footsteps walking away. She did this every morning, as if it was her personal mission to make my mornings as irritable as possible, having no problems calling me lazy, but little do they know or care, I'm always the first one to wake up. It's just how I am. I'm always so restless, especially in the... I'm actually reminded of something I read about, something, I don't remember the exact name, but there was something about a group of teenage criminals that were taken in by a retired military vet, And for the first time in their lives, they were actually taught real life skills. They didn't have to resort to crime. They didn't have to resort to being a bad guy, not just to get by. They were taught real life skills, so they had more options now. So I think it's kind of like in that same vein. Like I said, this was an article I read ages ago. I don't even remember the exact name of it. But it kind of works in the same way. Like when you're a teenager, you're kind of like whatever when it comes to the real world. You go to school, you do your homework, you play on a sports team, you have extracurriculars, you have a job, you have your friends, and that's kind of it. But what if there was a way to give them like a stronger sense of right and wrong from a young age? Basically say, hey, you can go to this school, you can learn real life skills, and if you choose to, you can become law enforcement at a young age. You can be taught real rights and real wrongs, and you can actually make a difference if you choose to. Of course, that's mainly just the introduction. That's just something to get people in the doors. And like anything else, the older you get, the more you come to realize that right and wrong isn't always black and white. I mean, it can be black and white, but it can also be red and gray as well. And that's basically what happens. All throughout the first book, things are pretty cut and dry, simple and clean. That is until we move on to later entries, where you learn that there's not always one set ideal of justice. Different people, even criminals, have different senses of justice, different senses of right and wrong. Yes, there are criminals who do the bad thing because they're bad people, but there are also those who do bad things for a good reason. Kind of the anti-villain, anti-hero dynamic that you hear about nowadays. For example, characters like Loki or Killmonger from Black Panther or Deadpool. They're all considered anti-heroes or anti-villains because they do bad things, but they ultimately have a good reason for it. So that's kind of how Iustitia falls in that prospect, that not everything, not even a sense of right and wrong, is always cut and dry and simple and clean, and that you as the reader, and by extension, Steph, the main character, you have to discover your own sense of right and wrong. Where do you obey orders telling you what's right and wrong, and when do you have to develop your own sense of right and wrong, telling yourself, I don't agree with this. I have to do things my own way. But overall, that's basically the summary without spoiling too much into Iustitia. So I hope that you guys give it a chance, give it a read, or even a listen. There's like a little sample of the audiobook that I narrated right here, and there's a link to where you can buy the book or audio if you want to. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. See ya!